Hey, my name is Dawn Nicole with Queen City Women in Business, and today I'm going to talk about what you're going to need to get started, what type of documentation you're going to need to prepare for the WBENC certification. Now, WBENC stands for Women's Business Enterprise National Council. It's WBENC, and most people just call it WBENC. And when you get the WBE, the Women's Business Enterprise certification, they call you a WBE. Now, what's really interesting is if you are very much focused on selling your services, products, or goods to corporate entities, they have a list of recognizable certifying bodies that they accept. WBENC is one of many. They accept Disability In, they accept Novoba's Veteran Business Entity certification, they accept NMSDC, National Minority Supplier Development Council, oh my gosh, which is covered under CVMSDC, mid-states, or depending on your region, there's some different acronyms. But anyway, the NMSDC is a minority certification. They also accept NGLCC, LGBTBE, LGBT Business Enterprise, and there's probably one more I'm missing. Either case, I put on the screen, all of these are accepted by corporate, but today we're going to talk about what you need to prepare for the WBENC certification and how to get started. So without further ado, let's jump into the checklist and what it means for you. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is proof of gender and citizenship. Now, a little bit about a description is that these documents for proof in gender verify that the business owners are in fact women and are in fact U.S. citizens or legal residents. Now, why this is needed? Because it confirms that the business meets the WBENC requirement of being at least 51% owned and controlled by women who are U.S. citizens or legal residences. Okay, so what can you use for this particular piece of documentation? Here's a few things you can use. You can use a birth certificate. So what you're going to do is request a certified copy from the Vital Statistics Office or Vital Records Office in your state or in the country where you were born. So a birth certificate can prove this, a passport. You can obtain or renew this through the U.S. Department of State. Naturalization papers can be used. These can be requested from the U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, which is USCIS. You can also use a driver's license or a state ID. This is available obviously through your Department of Motor Vehicles, so the DMV. So those really take care of how you prove citizenship, the fact that you are a woman-owned business and the fact that you are a U.S. woman-owned business. So number two, now we're going to talk about your business, financial, and statement tax returns. So these documents provide a detailed overview of the business's financial health and history. Now, why is this needed? I get this question so many times. A lot of business owners want to know, why are they asking me about my financials? This is to assess the financial stability and performance of the business. That means that they need to make sure that you can actually handle being in a prime position. So if they give you a prime contract to deliver on, they need to know that you can actually deliver it, that you have the capital to be able to see this thing through. So what can you use for this requirement? You're going to use profit and loss statements and balance sheets. These can be generated by your accounting software or your accountant. For me, we use Wave as a point of sale software. We also use a number of other ones. So again, profit and loss statements and balance sheets, that's something that your accounting software or your accountant can help you to generate. We also see this being proved by business tax return. Be prepared to produce this. Copies can be obtained from your accountant or directly from the IRS for the last 3 years. Now, I get this question all the time. What if I have not been in business for the past 3 years? It's just going to create something on the company letterhead that simply explains you just started your company with this date, and therefore the business tax returns of 3 years is going to be NA because you don't have it. You haven't been in business 3 years, okay? So this is why, by the way, some people like to apply for the WBENC and other certifications when they're very early, not because they're actually going to use the certification just yet, but they can get the certification and kind of breeze through a lot of these. All right. So let's keep going. The next thing, number 3, that they are going to ask you for are the articles of incorporation or organization. Now, these are going to be legal documents that establish the existence of your business's entity. Now, you're probably wondering, well, why do I need my articles of incorporation or organization? This is to verify the legal structure and formation of your business, okay? So, for example, are you an LLC? Are you an S Corp? Are you a C Corp? Those articles of incorporation and organization will actually showcase how your business is formed. So, for the articles of incorporation, which are going to be for corporations, this is something that you filed with the Secretary of State State's office in the state where your business is incorporated. Now, for articles of organization, which is something that is for LLCs specifically, this is also filed with the Secretary of State's office in the state where the business is formed. The next thing, number 4, operating agreements or bylaws. So these are documents outlining the management and structure and operational procedures of your business. This is something that usually is already in place when you set up your business. This is needed to verify how the business is governed and that it is managed by women owners, okay? Now, where can you find this? Operating agreements for LLCs are typically created at the time of formation and kept with your business records. Also, bylaws, which are for corporations, are created by the board of directors and maintained in the corporate record. Now, what's interesting is when we formed our company, we formed through LegalZoom, and our bylaws were automatically a part of this. So I don't remember creating new bylaws. Number 5, stock certifications and meeting minutes if applicable. Now, these documents are relevant to corporations to verify ownership and government practices. The reason they are needed is to confirm the ownership structure and document key business decisions. But the question is, where can you find these? So typically, these are going to be located on stock certificates, which were issued by the corporation to its shareholders and kept in the corporate records. So if a third party like LegalZoom or some other company forms your business for you, then those stock certificates that came with your business is where you can get that information. Now, meeting minutes is something that you will have to create. So meeting minutes are those official records of board and shareholder meetings maintained by the corporate secretary. Now, you might be saying, okay, I'm just one company. I'm the only one on my company right now. It's just me. I would still, if you've been in existence for 90 days, right? If you have to document that you have something like this, go back and predate it. You didn't hear me say that on record, but go ahead and type up, what is a meeting? Even if you had it with yourself, a meeting of the mind, document that it was you in attendance of this meeting. Maybe there was a witness. Here are some things that you covered. What's also suitable here is that if you don't have a board just yet, so you aren't having official meeting minutes, again, you're going to put on company letterhead. This is not applicable to me just yet. We are in the process of forming our board, and we should have this board formed in the next 6 months. So again, explain it away. A lot of people feel like they can't explain things, but you can simply explain what's going on. Next, resumes of all owners and key management. This one is big. I feel like we forget to do this one. Like we bring people on, we like people, and we forget to ask for this information, but it is really an important record to have handy. The resumes of all owners, this is going to be a detailed professional background of the business owners and key management personnel. So if you have 2 owners, you'll have 2 resumes stored somewhere. If you have 3 owners, so on and so forth. Now, the reason this is needed is to demonstrate the qualifications and the roles of those who are managing and controlling the business day to day. So where can you find it? Easily. You create it. I think we're all used to having a resume from our jobs, right? So typically it needs to be by individual. It's going to detail their work history, education, skills, and relevant experience. And here's a news flash. Put the company you are currently running at the top. That should be the most current business. Of course, you're going to put owner, co-owner, founder, co-founder, so on and so forth. Next, business licenses and leases. So these are documents demonstrating that the business is legally authorized to operate and detailing its physical location. So this is really important. The reason this is needed is to confirm that the business is operating legally and to verify its primary place of business. So this is important. So what can you use for this one? What can you use to validate this? You're going to use things like business licenses that might be issued by local, state, or federal authorities. Copies can be obtained from relevant licensing agencies, or lease agreements, or if you have a mortgage. You know, if some of us work at home, we have a home office. So a lease agreement, mortgage, anything that has the physical residence where you reside and where your business is stood up. This can be obtained from your landlord or property management company, or obviously your mortgage company, but you're going to show evidence of where the business resides, okay? Again, these documents are collectively used to fast track, speed up the process. Now, don't feel like if you don't have something, you cannot submit your application. Not true. You can explain it away. And if something is imperative and critical to the process, typically the team at WBENC is good. They will ask you for what they need. Here's a pro tip. Don't over answer. I tell women all the time, do not over answer, but do answer in a timely manner. Make yourself accountable to this process. Give yourself a 30-day time box. I like to tell women, give yourselves 10 days, if that, for data accumulation, data collection, data gathering, and then 20 days for the full-on submission process, right? So that in a 30-day period, you've submitted this, right? And then once you've submitted this, you can start looking at other certifications, because you know what? You just did all the work. You already created a whole folder. You might as well go look on the other side and see what else you can apply for, what other certifications make sense. Listen, I hope that this was helpful, and I will talk to you soon. And if you need any support, reach out to QCWIB.com or to QCWIB-Indiana.com if you're in Indiana. And remember, Queen City Women in Business is here to connect women-owned businesses to top brands faster. All right, I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.